You are now listening to Oversaturated, the podcast, hosted by Johnnie and Ralph. Now let's get it.
What's happening, YouTube? This is OS, the podcast where we discuss music, movies, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm Ralph.
I'm Johnny.
Hey, man, what's happening, y'all? This is your first time here at the channel. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment if you like what we got going. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other content that OS, the podcast, puts out. But unfortunately, usually you'll see me and Johnny sitting across from each other on the futon. I couldn't make it. The weather here is not that great here in St. Louis,
Right.
But we are discussing Secret Invasion, the latest entry into the MCU, Disney Plus content, all that great stuff. Episode 4.
Yeah.
Beloved. Johnny.
Johnny.
Johnny. What do you have for episode 4 before we get to the breakdown?
They picked it back up. Listen, episode 3.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
Episode 3 was a bit of a tell-off from the first 2 episodes, and I was like, oh man, they do this every episode 3. Why do they do this every time? But they picked it back up, so I'm thoroughly happy. I really enjoyed this episode. What happened at the end, which we'll get to, I was not expecting whatsoever. Yeah. So to see such a major character leave is like, wow, that's crazy. So I enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. Hey man, you know me, man. I appreciate the stakes, man. And I ain't talking about, the beef. I'm talking about stakes, like when they hot. Like it's like, it's just when things happen and reveals happen, the major character is at just at odds. He really doesn't know what's going on. And this is the first time we really see Nick Fury just on ropes with a lot. I mean, we've seen him on we never seen him on the ropes in the film. So this is his show. He got to go through it. He got to go through this ringer, bro.
Man, he been on the ropes this whole season. This is crazy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. But this is his show. He's the hero. He's the protagonist. So he got to deal with everything that comes with it. But no, I appreciate. I mean, I hear what you're saying with. I mean, the episode 3, I'm trying not to cape too hard for it, but I get what it was doing. It was pushing the story along. But this one definitely picked up the action. Like this is a series void of it, I would say. There's not that much action because our lead is not a superhero. He's a spy. So it's levels to what we can do. And then you're talking about an 80-year-old man in real life.
But you know what though? The interesting thing about it, until episode 4, I didn't realize how much we didn't have action in this series until episode 4. And I think that's a testament of how great the acting is.
The acting and the actual story and writing. Because let's say this, right? In spy films, you have to have dialogue. The action's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of understood. But you gotta have a plot and story to kind of work these angles because it can't be shoot up bang bang all the time.
Right.
Because outside of the explosion in the square.
Yeah, it hasn't been
really haven't had anything.
No, you're right.
Somebody got shot in the leg in interrogation and stuff, but that it really hasn't been, car chases and things like that. But we got that in episode 4. So
word.
I love it. And I share your sentiments. I definitely enjoy episode 4 over episode 3. Now, let me ask you this. Was this a shorter episode again this week? I can't remember. I only got a chance to watch it once.
I think it was slightly longer than episode 3, but still shorter than the first 2.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It seems as if as the episodes, as we get each episode each week, the timing is less and less. So I don't know. So I hope episode 6 is lengthy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think episode 5 and 6 are kind of
So with that being said,
but no, How we starting this off? How we
Let's
starting
get
this off,
to
bro?
it. Hey man, we got to start with the very first scene. You called it. You called it. Ralph called it.
Mm-hmm.
Gaia's not dead. Gaia is not dead.
Yeah.
She put herself in the machine that the scrolls built, and she gave herself the extremist powers. Oh my god, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that? Right.
Well, I don't think I appreciate it, but I don't think any of us like. I mean, that was the play, right? When she went to do whatever, I think to get the code for my man's in the missile launch last week.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show that part. Like I feel like that happened when she was running in there to get the code, right? Or on the way back out. So now that's a dope callback, a dope play that we didn't see. And I just felt like with a character like that, you couldn't kill her off, and that's it. Like that's how we end in this Gaia arc. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that she can't die, but just like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not to say she didn't deserve the bullet because she turned on the calls. But I mean, that was a dope way to kind of like, hey, we seen her die on camera, or at least we thought. And then, like you said, the streaming powers just healed her, and the bullet, wherever it went or whatever. So now that's dope.
No, that was great. I was like, damn,
but
he was right.
I have to call out a slight thing, right?
What happened?
Now, remember when Talos stabbed Gravik in his hand, the streaming powers kind of healed him real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Then it healed him quicker. Then now I know a stab and a bullet are two different things, but
right,
you know what I'm saying? That's just something I thought about. I was like, that's interesting.
So Gaia might have actually died. And the reason I say that is because she immediately turned back to a scroll. You know, when a scroll dies, they immediately turn back to their regular form.
Okay.
So I'm going to assume she actually died when she got shot. And then extremist powers took their thing and did their thing. So that's the only way I can explain it. So
I was just like, so we seen this work.
Right.
Right.
That's funny.
I ain't saying it was gonna be bullet. I ain't saying she's bulletproof, but I'm just like,
yeah,
okay.
It took a minute. It took a minute for it to activate.
Right. Exactly. She didn't know if it worked for real. She didn't know if it worked. She out in the field trying out stuff. She didn't know if it worked. But no, I mean, I'm just glad that Gaia's arc at least does not end there.
Word. Mm-hmm. All right. So next we get the opening credits, which we talked about already. So the next scene is a flashback to 2012, where Nick Fury is meeting remind me her name. Is it Vera?
It's Vera.
Vera. Yeah.
But her human name is Priscilla.
Priscilla. That's what it is. Priscilla. Yeah. So Nick Fury is meeting Priscilla in a restaurant. I want to say in Paris, somewhere in France, maybe.
Yeah.
And
that's what I feel. I like it.
Is that you? Is that me?
No, that's my series. My series just activated for some reason.
Shout out to Siri, man. She like Siri little podcast too. Turn up. Oh, okay.
I was about to say that, but it probably activated good.
All right. All right. So we're back. So Nick Fury meets Priscilla in a restaurant in France. And this is in 2012, right after the Battle of New York in the first Avengers movie, right? They get into a whole dialogue. Priscilla basically tells Fury, well, I know the Avengers had something to do with you because you probably pulled them together with her cool ass. And they just go into a whole back and forth about that. But Priscilla also brings up a book that she's reading. It's a collection of poems, and she lets Fury read one half of it while she reads the other half, and it's like a call and response, a back and forth type of thing, which plays into later on in the episode, right? So I thought this was a pretty dope scene. Again, we get flashback scenes at the beginning of every episode that kind of ties into the episode itself. So I thought this was a good scene, especially to see Nick Fury feeling pretty confident in himself after the Battle of New York.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, like it ties into what we're going to talk about later, but it definitely gives like a backstory, more of a backstory to know that they were really in love. They really
absolutely.
had they had a thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it is good to see these layers of Nick Fury because we never seen them before.
Right.
So the acting.
Oh, it's there. Chef's kiss, right?
Yeah.
So the next scene we get, Priscilla is sitting in the church, which at the end of episode 3, she got that phone call from Rhodey, meet me here this time. So now we get the actual scene, right? So Priscilla sitting in the church, there's a hymn being sung, and Rhodey walks in. They have a whole exchange. Rhodey says, "Hey, you need to go kill Fury." And in this moment, Priscilla, she tries to plead with Rhodey, like, Nick, he's old, he's washed, he doesn't really need to be gone, like all of that kind of stuff. So I think in that moment, we kind of saw that Priscilla really does love him and is trying to stick up for him because, one, I don't think she wants him to die, and then she doesn't want to be the person to actually pull the trigger. So I think that was great to see, because we were kind of iffy on if she still loved him after their conversation that they had in episode 3, right? Well, you've been going so long, I turned back to the person I was before and all that. But even with that, she still loves him, and I think we saw that in this scene.
Yeah, it's so much to get into, right?
Mm-hmm.
First things first, I think one of us called it. I'll just give you the credit on it. I'm pretty sure you said this. He's the Squirrel. Like, if we didn't know before, we know before, we know now. We know now, right? And it wasn't like a complete like slam dunk smoking gun type situation, which we'll kind of get to a little bit later. But it definitely like showed that he's on the other side of something, right? And we did see Nick Fury actually have her bugged.
Yeah.
So he was like into that conversation. And then I'm glad you said that, bro, because she turned back into the person that she was before him. Mm-hmm. It shows that Nick Fury is really coming into these Skrulls' life and making them conflicted. Like, between his best friend and his wife, he has people choosing their love and their friendship and their brotherhood with him over their own people. Right. So I think that's where Priscilla had that struggle, and now you see it, right?
Yeah.
Because I know what we're here for, and we're here for this type of we're here for this we're here to overthrow. We're here to be our true selves. We can't be like the Asgardians. We got to be out. We trying to be out here. We want to be green skin outside, but we can't do that unless we just really get some love in other places. So it's like you see it, and I think it's a conflict. It's really a conflict.
It really is. So after that, we get a quick scene with Gravik and his rebel Skrulls, right? Getting onto a plane or getting off a plane. I don't remember which one, but basically Gravik is letting his people know, hey, we're gonna attack. We're gonna attack. I think it was the U.S. president they were aiming for, right? But they wanted to make it. They wanted to make it loud and rambunctious, just like the Russians would do, because they're trying to start a world war here. So they're infiltrating, I guess Russian officials, Russian government, Russian military, and trying to put this hit out on the president so it can make it look like the Russians are doing it. So he said, hey, make sure you make it loud, rambunctious, just like the Russians would. And that's what they did. But we'll get to that in a minute, right? So after that scene, we have Talos and Gaia. Go ahead.
And then not to even get too far off of that, but he did confirm with his immediate inner circle that he killed Gaia, because a guy asked about it. He's like, what happened? Where's Gaia? Like, he's like, I put a bullet in, or whatever he said, because she's the traitor, she's the mole. Right. So he was like, damn. Like, he was kind of like
just out of here like that. Right.
And the reason I brought that up, because I think and the reason I brought that up, because I feel like there might be an issue later.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense, because why else would they bring it up in a moment like that? It's such a moment like that, yeah.
And it's like, I think that he probably has a not to say he has a thing with Gaia, but just an alliance with Gaia and a rapport. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to play into something later.
Thank you for the reminder, because I actually forgot about that part. So the next scene, Gaia and Talos, they meet up in the park. I think this is the first time they've seen each other face to face since, I want to say, episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been 2. So yeah, so they get to talking. So Gravik believes Gaia is dead. He told the organization, cool. So they don't know Gaia is out here still, still alive, right? But then Talos and Gaia, they have their conversation. And basically Gaia is trying to figure out what Talos's plan is when it comes to liberating and freeing the skulls. Hey, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? We can't really reside here because of, the earth, the humans and all that. But Talos is trying to reassure her, hey, he tries to reassure her. He says he has a plan, but it sounds like he just made it up as he went. Hey, we're going to show the president. We're going to show the president that they can trust us and all of this kind of stuff. And Gaia, she ain't feeling that. She not feeling it.
And you know what this sounds like again, bro?
What?
X.
Damn. I mean,
President X always trying to prove to the humans, like, hey,
we good. We all right. We all right. We all right.
Magneto, like, man, fuck that.
Only it's crazy. Because no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
It's the same concept. I mean, no, same concept, different group of people, right? But the idea is that we can get along with humans. And the only thing is, if them damn Asgardians weren't here in the same universe, we could probably have, a conversation about that not being true. But we have some aliens coexist because they over here chilling. They ain't bothering nobody. They over there.
But see, this is the difference though. And I thought about this during this episode. Like, only reason that humans are cool with Asgardians being there is because they look like us. They look like humans. Oh, yeah. They not gonna be cool with the Skrulls walking around looking like the Jolly Green Giant. Ain't no way.
And even most Asgardians, right? Because there's still a lot of you got Korg and all them over there. They chilling though.
True.
But for the most part, the Asgardians like being isolated. The Skrulls have gotten familiar with how we lived our life, so they like the hustle and bustle life of the city. So they ain't trying to. I like Uber. I like Uber Eats too. Like I want some food. I ain't trying to cook. I ain't trying to grow this food. What you talking about?
Facts. No, that's what he said. All right. So for the next scene, we get Nick Fury. Nick Fury is at his humble abode, right? And Priscilla walks in. Yeah. She walks in slow. She notices that Nick Fury doesn't have his ring on because it's still in the little bowl. And she sees him in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And this is where they have their back and forth. Nick Fury tells her, hey, basically, I know you coming here to kill me. Was really good. Was happening. Like, I thought we was in love. Would things have been different under certain circumstances? And then, so first of all, I really, really enjoyed this scene, right? Like, again, the dialogue, the acting in this show has been phenomenal. But in them having their back and forth, you notice that they get into the actual poem that they said at the beginning of the episode. And like, it doesn't even click to me until they like say beloved. I'm like, oh shit, this is fire. This is fire. This shit was great. And then they proceed to shoot. Both of them proceed to shoot. I thought it was fire when they both set their gun on the table. I thought that was some real Mr. and Mrs. Smith type stuff. Like, I thought that was great. But the fact that they both shot and didn't shoot each other was great.
Yeah, it showed, like you said, it showed the love that they genuinely have for each other, or at least the respect. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it wasn't always love. Maybe they grew, maybe it was kind of like it was a grew to love type of situation. Mm-hmm. However, just the whole aspect of him calling her out on portraying him and all that was, I thought it was dope. Like, the whole dialogue was dope, bro.
For sure. Now the last part of that scene, as Nick Fury is walking out, Priscilla, she turns to ask him. She says, hey, basically something to the effect of, if I never took on Priscilla's likeness, right, would you have still loved me? And there's a long pause that Nick Fury took there. And he says, I guess we'll never know. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was powerful because to me, I don't know if he would have been able to be in a relationship with her in her normal self. I just don't see that.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
He fell in love with he fell in love with the spirit, but not necessarily what she actually looks like. And
Yeah.
then hey, look, young Priscilla, hey, look, I get it, Nick. I get it, Nick. I get it, brother. I get it.
All right, so we get to the next scene, beginning of the next scene, right? We finally get our big reveal, our big, huge reveal that Rhodey is a Skrull. Not only is Rhodey a Skrull, we haven't seen a Skrull of the opposite sex. I'm just going to say that the Skrull of the opposite sex playing another person. So we have a female Skrull playing a human man. I don't think that's something we've seen before. I don't know if there's any significance to that, but it was interesting to see.
Great observation, though. That's interesting. Like the a woman being able to take on those manly characteristics like that, or that man, that man's inner thoughts. I mean, we'll get to this, but I just need to know, where is the real Rhodey?
Like, no, facts. No, for real.
Is he tied up in the back? Like, he back there with the rest of them?
Where is the real Rhodey, and how long has this Skrull been impersonating him? Because my brain immediately goes back, like, when?
Yeah, and let me ask you this too: do you think we get that answer here before we leave?
I feel like we need to. We should. We okay. I think we have to because
they've been doing so many other callbacks.
Oh, for sure. But I feel like we have to know where he is, because I assume he's going to be in both the Thunderbolts and the new Captain America movie whenever they do come out.
His own. Oh yeah, and then his own movie. So episode 6, I imagine we find out where the real Rhodey is, because this is insane. And I hope we know, or I hope we learn when this Skrull took over his body, because how far back does this shit go? Like, because I need to know. Yeah. That'd be a good option. I mean, a good like nugget in the show.
For sure. So Rhodey's revealed as being a Skrull, which we already knew, but we'll talk about like how that happened and all that later on. But it's revealed he's a Skrull. He comes out of the bathroom fully dressed, and Nick Fury is sitting there with this old bottle of whiskey, right? He offers Rhodey some whiskey. It's like, is this poison? Should I drink this? Maybe I should see you drink it first. And he going to his whole spiel. Oh, this is aged 60 years and all that kind of shit. So basically, they have their conversation, and Fury is, if I recall, Fury is telling Rhodey, "Hey, I know what's going on. I'm gonna go to the president. I know what's happening. I know you scroll all that." But then Rhodey, he has footage of Gravik posing as Fury shooting Maria Hill and threatened to leak it if Fury does anything, right? So again, another great scene between two great actors, and I really love this scene.
Yeah.
All right, so we get to our next scene, which we have Talos and Fury are together in their car, and they're pursuing the president to make sure that he doesn't get captured by Gravik and his team. Now, I forgot to mention, back in the scene with Rhodey, there was a liquid tracker in the whiskey that Rhodey drank, so they're able to track him from the liquid whiskey that he drank. So that I thought that was dope as hell, right? So they trail the president. President gets off the plane. Rhodey talks to him. And in this moment, I forget what Rhodey says to him. I don't know if he mentioned anything about the Skrulls, but the president could notice that Rhodey had been drinking, and he mentioned, "Hey, did you have whiskey for breakfast?" and all that kind of stuff. And he told the dude, "Hey, go give me some gum. Go give me some gum." So that's funny. Right. So now they're driving, and now the attack happens. Talos and Fury, they find the attack. They get to the attack, and now is where we get the action. And I think the action here is phenomenal, and we get our first taste of Gravik using his group powers. He's able to grab somebody from a long distance, and now we get to the end, right? The president's vehicle has flipped over. He's not dead,
Yeah.
but they have to go save him. The backup for the United States military and Secret Service arrives. They cover Talos and Fury. They're able to get the president out, but Talos gets shot. Now this is slightly.
Bad, oh no, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
He got shot. Talos gets shot right now. This is a different type of shot than Gaia in the previous episode because Talos's scroll likeness is slowly forming as he slowly passes
and
away.
he got shot by a bigger caliber of gun. Why did you point that out?
Make it make sense.
Make it right. He got shot by an automatic rifle. This man Gravik had a 22.
Hilarious. But in that moment though, as Talos is slowly passing away, he uses the last bit of his strength to actually like break the window so they can get the president out, because the president's flipped over in his bulletproof motorcade, right? And that goes to show how what Talos was saying to Gaia at the beginning of the episode. Hey, if I can show them that we are here to help and to provide our service and let them know that we're not a threat, we should be okay. Because that's what he said to Gaia in the beginning, right? So he uses the last bit of his strength.
And then Nick had to save.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, but Nick had to save Talos from getting shot. Initially, right? Because when he started to change, like they was gonna finish him off pretty much.
Yeah.
The Secret Service like, hey, that's a bloody alien. Like, hey yo, he with me. He with us. He with me. Like, it was about to get bad. He about to light his ass up, man.
It's gonna get bad quick, for sure.
Man,
but Talos is able to break the window so they can get the president out, and that's when Talos actually, that's when he actually died, and his full scroll self is exposed. And at this moment, Nick Fury has a choice to make. Does he move Talos out of the way so the world won't see that there's a scroll here? Or does he save the president because this is the president of the United States and he got to get him the fuck out of here? Like, which one does he do? And with the look of like extreme sadness on his face, he has to leave Talos there because he has to save the president of the United States. And now, and I think that's where we end the episode, right? So now the world is going to know what happened. What I missed?
Gravik stabbed him.
Gravik stabbed. Who he stabbed?
Talos.
That's how Talos ended up dying. He didn't die from a gunshot.
Yeah. No. He didn't die from the gunshot. He was, kind of still teetering in and out, but Nick Fury did grab the president, put him in the, their special G-Wagon, whatever they were driving, and then Gravik posed as one of the security guards, like one of the Secret Service agents, and he had Talos like this, and then he's like, no, he's like, don't do it. He's like, drop him. And then as soon as, he kind of dropped him, Gravik turned back into his original, well, not in his original form, but Gravik form, and stabbed Talos dead in his heart, and then left.
Got it.
But it's still in the middle of a gunfight, so Nick Fury still had to get the president out of there. So he had to let his friend die in the middle of the street.
Right. I had to leave him there, and that's where we end the episode.
That's where we end the episode. I'm like, hey, yo, bro,
like, look. Save me. I appreciate that. But
I got you.
But that's the end, right? So now,
yes,
the world knows that scrolls are here on the planet. So that's going to have lasting implications. Yeah. For at least, clearly the next 2 episodes, but throughout the rest of the MCU, right? In the Thunderbolts, in Captain America: Brave New World, like that's going to have lasting implications. So I thought this was great, man. I thought this was a great episode.
Two things, right? Bro Rhodey was chilling the whole time. He didn't leave his truck. The whole time, he's just like, you might as well have some popcorn, but he was just sitting back chilling. And then at the end, like you said, like you can really see Nick Fury was really like conflicted. He was hurt. I got to do my job, but my best friend dies because Fury don't have friends. But Talos, as we have seen, is a friend. And then he ultimately had to make a choice. And then now he lost his wife and his best friend in the same episode.
Same episode.
That's something, beloved. It hurts. It hurts. that hurts. So now, man, Nick Fury's at he should be at the bottom emotionally. Like,
what, bro? For real. Now, with that being said, right? So we see that Gravik has the powers of Groot and Extremis, right? Not, I mean, it's still superpowers. So there's that, but not like Iron Man level superpowers. So do you think there will be an Avenger appearance in this show in the last 2 episodes? Because I don't see how Nick Fury would be able to defeat Gravik and an army of superpowered Skrulls. I don't see how that can happen.
Right. The only I'm trying to think. Only ally that he has right now with any type of super strength or power is Gaia.
Okay.
It's Gaia. Now, the only way I can see this working without an Avenger coming, right, is if Gaia causes a civil war amongst the rebel army. That's the only way.
Interesting. Okay.
Where they start turning on each other, because Gaia is the only person strong enough to fight Gravik.
Right. Technically. And Fury and Gaia got to get together anyway.
You're right. Now somebody comes in, I can only say Thor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or Thor or the real road gets his suit. Yeah.
But so I don't think the real road to getting his suit is that far fetched. Like, somehow Skrull Rhodey gets outed, and somehow they find the real Rhodey, and he suit up like, hey, fuck all that. We here. Like, what's up?
Now War Machine pull up.
It's lit.
I have something.
It's lit.
Might be able to do something.
And then that could lead into Armor Wars. Yeah, it is. So I don't know. But no, man. So we're at the end of the episode. Overall, out of 5, what you giving it?
I think I'm keeping it at what I did last week, which was a 3.5 for me out of 5. The action definitely knocked it up some. I don't know what it would have made it a 4, maybe just a little more, a little bit more. But I mean, I don't really know. But I mean, it's all in all, it's still a step up from, even though I'm giving it the same rating as last week, it's still a 3.5. But I'm not in love with the episode, if that makes sense, like the other 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like the first. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3.75, and the reason it's not at a 4 is because even though we knew Rhodey was a Skrull in this series, the reveal that he was a Skrull was kind of trash. Like, we already knew it, but like, just wiping the shit, like that was kind of trash.
If it was another, I guess they was going for a less dramatic way. Like, you know what I'm saying? If it was like in combat, or like, I'm here for my people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just I'm really here for my people. You know what I'm saying?
They missed the mark.
That wouldn't work either.
Nah. Nah. But no, 3.75, man. Episode 4, Secret Invasion. So yeah. Only 2 more episodes left. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
2 more weeks, bro. I'm really excited to see what happens. How they like really wrap this whole story up, and see how we get into the Marvels with all this too, because it definitely ties in.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. So with that, that's episode 4 of Secret Invasion. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Yeah, man, beloved. Hit the comment section. Let us know what you all thought about the episode. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. And we'll be back next week with episode 5. And with that, we out.